Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the last 5th day of Next Innovation Week. Really glad to moderate my last panel, actually. Of course, we have an afternoon panel, which isn't moderated by myself, and I can really say an amazing journey these 5 days. We learned a lot, we met some very extraordinary people, and I'm closing my moderation topic with this very interesting panel with a title, Creating Authentic Commercial Models, Transition from Omnichannel to Orchestrating Experience. Really glad to welcome Luigi Boaretto from Zambon. Hi, Luigi, how are you?
Hi, great, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you, Luigi. Dirk Abel from Reckitt. Hi, Dirk, how are you?
Hi, Dario, all fine, thanks.
Robert Šunjić, I got the pronunciation right, Robert? How are you?
Jako dobro. Thank you very much, Dario, for the invitation. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Just few information related to Next Innovation Week. So in total, we had close to 1,000, even 600 registrants, 40 speakers, 5 days, 10 sessions. So this is the 9th one. In the afternoon, we are having a very interesting patient-related session in addition. And I would like to encourage our audience to ask questions, because we will pick some of them and, of course, ask our panelist group to provide their view on those questions. Before we start, I actually would like to mention that we, of course, did some kickoff meetings before. And it was very interesting to see that when we spoke about omnichannel experience, etc., many of us agree that maybe we are still not yet that, that we are maybe even not mastering omnichannel, but definitely COVID made us master of that, and it accelerated the whole digital transformation procedure dramatically, right? Therefore, I would like to start with the first question to our panel group, which is, how did omnichannel model change in pharma in the last 5 years? Or maybe the appropriate question would be in the last 6 months, because most probably the biggest changes happened in the last 5 years, in the last 6 months, right? Let's start with Luigi, because Luigi actually worked previously in some other industries outside pharma. So he can maybe give some benchmark with that, and also explain how Zambon is doing this very interesting omnichannel approach. Luigi?
Thank you, Dario. Well, actually, you know, I think it's a common experience for all our pharma company that we had multi-channels, not really omni-channels. Several companies try to activate channels more than face-to-face. But the majority of the cases was or a way to push basically a brand with as many channels as possible, or a way to reduce the costs of the promotion using more efficient digital. But at the end, I guess both approaches eventually failed. What COVID brought back is basically it brought back the needs of the customers, and so the needs for our companies to really offer to our customers, to serve them with an engaging experience, something that was interesting, useful. And what we understood then, at least in Zambon, is that we cannot achieve this with a silo approach. At the end of the day, we just brought together the different teams and tried to understand what are, not to reinvent the wheel, but actually we ended with a wheel, maybe that you can show it, with the 5 pillars, I would say, starting from the customer insights and profiling, and going to the content preparation and the omni-channel enablers and the hybrid engagement model, and finding the KPIs. But the most important, we positioned all our teams inside this wheel. So any teams can be marketing, can be commercial excellence, can be sales force people, can be IT, can be HR, digitals. All these teams has to contribute with a collective effort. And these steps basically are not a linear things. Is a kind of circular approach. And you have to put the customer, the patient at the center, and then think for these specific customers, what we can do to understand and serve their needs.
I think that Dario dropped off. So let me be the moderator at interim. Robert, what would you like to add on what Luigi just mentioned?
I think we are here all in the same situation, and when we had the request of Dario, and thank you for the invitation to be here as speaker for Omnichannel, I was surprised because I asked the guys, are we really all Omnichannel? And I think that's the point where we all dramatically changed in the last not 5 years. It's just the 6 months we felt this different change, different view. I'm with Grünenthal for 2 years, joining from AstraZeneca, the big pharma, and coming to a mid-sized company. And I'm lucky to have in our global team Florent Edouard, I think well known in our community as a dramatic game changer, and he's pushing us as a company on this digital way and approach. And the last 6 months was a great journey, and we are starting to becoming a omni-channel company. But it's an outlook, and I would say we discussed this. We had all the technology also before COVID, Zoom, hybrid events, etc. And to be honest, our customer, from my point of view, from a market perspective, haven't accepted these opportunities. And this is the big change. Also, customers are open for a Zoom chat, for a Teams meeting or a webinar. And I think this is the great opportunity to now build a real omni-channel approach in a company. And that's fun in these times, which are also hard, because you have to convince your teams. And it sounds easy when we are talking about it, but to develop it in the company, it's a hard journey, but it will be the right one.
Thank you, Robert. Dirk?
Yeah, so what I can say is that, and I will focus on COVID because, like you said, Dario, we say 5 years, everyone was talking a bit about omni-channel, but it was more multi-channel. Even for me, not really multi-channel. It was a bit trial and error. What COVID has done is really has catapulted us in the place where we should have been. And the reason why I say where we should have been already quite some time is because if we look in our industry, we've been talking for years, and even almost say wobbling for many years about customer centricity, patient centricity, etc., etc. And I think we never really did do that. And even today, of course, we have to be omni-channel or even multi-channel, whatever it is, because I think as long as an organization is not thinking customer-centric and breathing patient centricity, we can do whatever we want. We've been pulling out so many new channels, technology platforms. I always say, despite the complexity, that's the easy part of the game. So it's about mentality. And I see some shifts happening in mentality, let me say in the famous C-suite, where the pilots in the cockpit are sitting to fly or plane where they think we have to go, is finally start to sipping through a bit this idea about the organization needs to be transformed, if I can say, to really be focused and be able to meet that strive to bring value to customers and to focus on them. So for me, that's what I think has been maybe a bigger change, or could lead to a bigger change than what COVID first of all has surfaced, the need to have remote engagements. Because let's be honest, remote engagement isn't stays an enabler. It's about connecting with our customers. It's about helping them to connect better with their patients or with their clients, depending on the industry. So I hope that we've learned this lesson as an industry and that we will keep going there. We all said we will not go back to the normal. I also don't believe so, but let's see how we do that.
I guess that we lost Dario. Maybe that we can move. No, Dario is back.
Dario, no.
I think this is also that it happens with Next is also showing not everything on this journey will be perfect, right? So
exactly.
what is your view on this activities when you are launching something in your companies.
Yeah.
In our case, it's always we want to be perfect, but this is not possible in this technology. So I'm not sure.
I think that this leads also to what we thought be probably the second topic to discuss. So what means for us? I mean, an authentic pharma brand and how to deliver the message from our teams, from our customer-facing teams to the HCPs. Maybe that we can continue on this. I don't know. This time, maybe Robert, you should start.
Sorry to interrupt. I hope you can hear me. We really have some unfortunate troubleshoot with T-Mobile here in Croatia with the internet. So I really apologize for that. So yeah, actually, Luigi mentioned that the second question, which is what means to having an authentic pharma brand and how to deliver the message from teams to HCPs. So if I get once again disconnected, please just continue. Really, really apologize for that.
That's okay.
No problem.
Maybe we can start with Robert. Robert?
Yeah, thank you. I can start. I think it's a very good question, and for me, it means that a product is not just our pharmaceutical product. It's the whole approach how we are solving a problem of our customers, and it means that a product helps the customer to better care his patients and his daily life in his office, and that we have feedback mechanisms that develops further in our offer to customers, that we can grow together, and that we have a cross-functional pharma team around the product. And I think these opportunities give us a much faster uptake of product or patient journey understanding, because I think in the pre-COVID times we need relatively long to bring a product to the peak, and I think with these opportunities we have much more of options to be faster in the launch phase, to bring understanding of a drug on a higher level, and to understand the needs of customers much better. And when we understand the patient journey, the customer journey, then we know where we pick our message, where we discuss our customers, and where we can help to solve problems. And I think that's the most important thing what we can do for our customers and at the end for the patients. How it's in your company, Dirk?
Yeah, I think Robert, what you said is putting the finger at the right place, and I would like to say that for me, when I think about a product / brand and authenticity, it's about, we should look at it. It has to bring a solution for something, and if it's clear what the solution is, and when I say clear, it has to be at the healthcare provider side and the patient side. They need to understand what is the promise of this product, and if this is connected, then I think a product is really authentic. It is bringing what it is promising. It is giving transparency, and it is also done in a way that people can connect to. And coming back to what we are facing today, to the famous omnichannel kind of experience, it's also bringing this experience through the channels people are familiar with or want to connect with, being it directly with their healthcare provider, being it between a healthcare provider and a company like ours, like Reckitt, and all the others across the globe. So authenticity, I think we have to, it's an end-to-end process. And what I've seen happening many times is, and even at the actual situation, you always have the cowboys in the industry who are trying to take advantage and are making promises by adding new kind of benefits to their products, which maybe still have to be proven. So I think authenticity it's a heavy word. It has a deep meaning, but we need to apply it across everything we do, and again across the whole organization. So it has to be a seamless kind of experience, because if there are hiccups in that continuum, customers and patients, yeah, of course, they are not stupid. So if we really want them to connect for the right reason, that's how I look at really bringing authentic product experience through healthcare providers to patients.
Basically, I can only add some other perspective on this, because I fully agree with you, Dirk and Robert. What I see is there is a kind of combination of two flows. One is a top-down and one is a bottom-up. And to me, the authenticity is really a top-down process. Dario was mentioning that I had the possibility to work in other business. What is a privilege of our industry is that we really daily work for the health and the well-being of our customers, our patients. That is something really special. And so if there is a real authentic spirit to serve patients, as many patients as possible, from the top leaders down to the customer-facing teams, this is the first part of the magic of being able to serve the customers. Because if you don't care the customers and the patients, then it's not possible to have the second process, which is bottom-up. Because if you care the patients and customers, you listen to them. And if you listen, you understand the needs. And what we have seen, probably all of us during the COVID period, our customers were not asking specifically something more often about our specific product. It was more about the situation, the disease, how the disease was affected by the pandemic, and or any other information about the pandemic. In some cases, we had to build appropriate channels to deliver this information, or even services. So if you combine this authenticity from the top to the bottom, and with the listening and the understanding, the capturing of these needs from the bottom to the top, then you start to circulate a kind of positive circle that helps at the end of the day to serve as many patients as possible.
I think that's a very nice venue to the heart of the topic. And the next question would be, I think, okay, it seems that Dario has disappeared in the virtual space due to the T-Mobile issues in Croatia. Can our industry make this swap from, let's just say, customer centricity to experience, bringing an experience, being experience-centric? And maybe, Luigi, we can continue with you before we go to Robert. And at the end, I will give my perspective, obviously.
Yeah, sure. It's really the next step, because if we are honest and we listen what not only our customers, but in our families and ourselves are experiencing I mean, how many patients today are happy of their customer experience when they go to an hospital or to the physician's office, or even to the pharmacy? Or how many HCPs or how many pharmacists are engaged and satisfied when they meet our customer-facing teams, our people? That's a key question, but I think the answer is easy. I mean, we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do to really offer a better customer experience. And in this sense, other industries, our business are much more advanced. And I believe that especially what we are experiencing every day in our daily life, the digital transformation has changed dramatically the level of service and the level of customer of experience that you had when you have a need and you want to satisfy it. So then the art is to find a balance and really to offer what is exactly needed to that customers in that moment. And there is a lot to do again to find this, capturing all the signals, all the insights from the customers, and then discuss it again with a multiple and open approach. Maybe that we will use not only brand care teams or brand teams, but more customer teams where we put together the views on how we as a company, we can really satisfy that customer. I don't know, Robert, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I can totally agree, Luigi, because the question was, can we do it as an industry? And I think our industry can do everything. We are solving health, we are saving lives. So, and I think that's why we have to say yes. But it's a way, and everything what you said, I think it's right. And the most important thing is we need high investments. That's I think a really hard way, because we want to go to a totally other level. Then we want to follow other industries. We want to learn faster than we learned in the past, when we are all honest. And I think this is a big change in thinking and reallocation of our investments, our budgets, to make sure that we understand the customer journey, to make sure that we have a proper CRM system, and that we have the people, and that we educate our people, that we grow our people, that they can follow this journey. And I think it starts with us, it starts with all the leaders, to rebuild the industry, the companies on this way. And I think then it will help also our customers a lot. But we are just in the view of us. We have also to put in the view of our customers what is in for them. And I think this is also a way where we have to explain our customers the value of this transition, of this different approach to discuss with the pharmaceutical industry, with a company about our products, etc. We are on a different way, and I think we have to see both sides.
Okay, Robert, thank you. So from my angle, I think I would like to add another dimension when we talk about experience. Bringing experiences to life in our industry, obviously, is not that easy. But if you look at experience, I'm looking at both customer and patient side again. I think also as an industry, we will have to change how we approach this till today. And what I want to say by that is breaking out of our own boundaries. I think we can truly bring more valuable experiences to our customers and to our patients if we start to collaborate across industries. And because we all have a piece of the puzzle. It's very seldom that the patient or an HCP is only looking for one drug. It's often a combination of a lot of things, because it's affecting quality of life, how people deal with that, anxiety. So I think if we as an industry can break out of our walls, and we are already fighting with internal walls between marketing and sales and medical affairs and etc. But if we can take that one step further even, and look over outside our own little corner, and try to have maybe ad hoc, and it can become structural partnerships, where we say, if we bring this together, we really bring a new experience through our healthcare providers to the patients, because we are making it easier for them. And for once, at least, we forget about it's about my profitability. Of course, there are discussions that need to take place, because it's easy to say what I'm saying. There's a lot of regulatory and legal and compliance and etc. You can hear it already. We can draw up as many hurdles as we want. But I think if we really want to change the look, that because I'm quite sure if you talk with patients or you talk with your friends, how they are looking at these big corporations is not always very positive. And I think the reason is also very obvious why. I'm also still looking, and some start doing it. If you look at shareholder, if you participate in shareholder meetings, stakeholder meetings, it's too often still focusing on the net revenue, on the dividends, rather than looking at the value add, what is it bringing to the society. And I know that can sound very high and fluffy, and maybe some people think he has smoked a joint or so, but it's really about, and I'm really sincere about this. If we are not able to do that as an industry, I think when things come kind of a new normal, we will go back to our old models. And I hope that end customers and patients will not accept it anymore. And will say to companies, hey, during COVID, you've changed quite dramatically. You've tried to accommodate all these new challenges. You should continue. And because this is also coming back to the first question about authenticity, not as a product, but as an organization. So that's how I think we should try to move forward. So a lot of alliances which I see happening and hope there will happen. You see it happening in some other industries already. So I hope we can learn from it and we can bring it to the next level. I don't know, Luigi and Robert, what your perspective is.
Sincere and concrete example of authenticity from the top. I mean, but it's really true. I mean, when next year, when we are nowadays, October, November, I think everybody are trying to figure out what will be the budget next year. And within our function and as an overall organization, for example, if we look at the digital investment and the IT costs that we are running every year and we are planning for next year and the investment, if we are sincere and we want to really care about our patients and customers, we should start to understand that, okay, how many of these investments are for them and how much is just for us to be super hyper precise in the business information and all the business reporting that we have in our industries, and we continue to invest. That's a clear question that we will put on the table, and we have to take a decision, right? So if we want to serve the customers, maybe that we have to allocate enough investment to that. And that will be a challenge. I think it's the today challenge for all of us. Are you in the same boat where I am?
I think absolutely. And I like your view, especially on the quality which we are bringing to customers, to patients. It's not just us; it's just the whole environment in where we are. And I think also to learn to cooperate, especially in our industry, is not so common in the past. So I think there are a lot of opportunities. Depends on your therapy area, where digital companies can support us, can support customers, and these topics we have to learn. I think in the next couple of years or months to go on this journey and to come up with new solutions, new ideas.
Exciting times coming, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting time for us to be here in this industry, because I'm always saying we are not so developed as consumer goods. We are not so but we are building it, and that's a great time.
It may be that we can learn from them and offering something better, because there are something that they are doing that is we don't like as a customer of that industry. So we could avoid to do the mistakes that they have done. I mean, we have this opportunity.
Exactly. So meanwhile, Dario, he sent me a message. Okay, he's still struggling to get online. So what I suggest is we have some more questions, but I see he gave me insight in the questions which are asked by the audience. So I suggest we just take a couple of minutes to answer them. One is directed to Robert, but okay, I invite everyone to build on it. Is Robert, you mentioned accelerating a launch is possible through digital platforms. My question is, how have they been able to find or reach their customers in the virtual ecosystem, and how they overcome the challenge of not being able to reach 100% of their target customers, since not everyone is active in the virtual space?
Yeah, good question. And I'm in the middle of Europe, in Germany, working in a country which is very well developed, in a rich country. But when we are looking on our customers, we are seeing that 70% of the worldwide fax is in Germany. So, and 80% of them in the healthcare setting. So our customers are not as well developed as maybe in Italy, Spain, what I'm seeing in our company Grünenthal. And this is a very good question, how we will bring them there. And that's why I said before, we need both perspectives. We need to develop or help our customers to go this journey with us, to go this journey for them to learn that it's much easier. And I think that's why we are currently in a transition, because we have to offer both sides, the digital side and the former or the learn side, to invite customers to real life educations, etc. And I think this time COVID helped us because customers cannot gain their points for education, etc. So it helped us to offer them solutions, but not 100% can follow. And also for this customer, we have to offer something. The time will help us, because in Germany, for example, our customer groups in GPs, but also in specialists in office-based settings are 55 till 60 years. So in 4 or 5 years, they are going to be retired. The new generation is growing. So and this is also for us very important, that we have a view for this new generation, but also to help the current generation, to support them and offer opportunities. We are starting with hybrid events. We are starting with different approaches to support them and to find easy ways, because as we have this situation here, when a customer is not or is a T-Mobile customer, not complaining, but and he cannot be in, and it's his first time, so it's not the best start in this way. And that's why maybe hybrid events are a solution. Maybe different opportunities in a market perspective are an option, but it has to be very easy.
Thank you, Robert. Luigi, you want to add something?
Yeah, and this perspective opens to me the question about global and local, because I mean I work in a global function, and then there is always the attempt and the wish to find a solution that suits for all the countries, all the situation. Why we're moving into, I mean, personalized from offering and promotion, right? So I think that there should be also rebalancing and rethinking our industries. What is the support again that can be provided by the global teams and the global function, and how much must be really personalized in the country environment. Germany is different from Colombia by definition, but even within Germany, regions are different, and in the same regions, our customers are totally different. So, and then that's why, I mean, I like a bit the way that we try to figure out is to always put a specific customer in the middle, the real customer that you have, and then try to understand with all the offering that you have to serve him, what is more suitable for this specific one. So that could be a good combination of offering from global services tools, but then apply locally, specifically having listened to your customer, heard them, understood them.
Yeah, thank you, Luigi. I want to add from our side is we launched a couple of products during COVID in the United States, and I think one of the key learnings for us was it was really a test on how good our relationships were with our key customers. Because if your relationship is good, it's incredible to how you see how inventive and creative people are to get connected and to get your information. And it's coming back here to what my colleagues said. It's about this bringing this value. It's the personalization, knowing who you have in front of you. It's what we or segmentation model, which is individualized, so that you know. And that's bringing me back to the importance of this human factor, because we would forget about it in these strange times. This human connection, that's for me still the key driver on how we can connect and stay connected in challenging, difficult times. In the US, also even over fax. Fax is also part of the omnichannel environment, by the way. So some can laugh. I know in Germany is the same. So fax is still a very reliable and often used communication vehicle. So I think we can still reach most of our people at the condition that they see value of what we've been bringing in the past. So I think the past now is coming to the future and is settling some scores against those companies that have been focusing only on themselves, their gain, pushing solutions, etc. These companies who have prepared and invested in bringing true value and listening to their customers, I think they have now a good advantage, and that advantage is there, I also believe, to stay. So as a summary, I think we can keep on reaching out to our customers if we know who they are, what they want, and what they expect from us, and we respect that, and we are not doing on product dump, but we are really looking at what they are looking for and bring this back to them, authentic and the value, and through the right channels. I think one of the things what we have also learned is, I could call it content on demand, because a sales rep, the traditional sales rep, is not there 24/7, but content on demand can be 24/7. But again, then it has to be customized, because otherwise you have a dump again of content where an HCP has to go and find his way, what they will not do. So,
I hope I'm back. I'm really listening. And I like this sentence which Dirk mentioned, that the past is coming once again to the future, right? And maybe I would like to ask one question. Do you receive Christmas cards in a physical way, not via email, from anyone? Can you remember that? Can you recall that?
Yes, and it's still that is happening. I still receive not as many as before, because now it's a lot easier over email, but yeah, still.
But most probably you know the people who send those Christmas cards, and most probably you don't know the people who send e-Christmas cards, right, via email.
Yeah, and I even think I expect already from whom I will receive them, and if I don't receive it from them, I say, huh, what's happening?
Exactly. Old school sometimes really matters. Okay, let's move to the next question from the audience. So how brave in this collaborative model in pharma prepared to go with the types of sectors it will be prepared to work with? Interesting question, I would say.
I think that was related to the second discussion we had, where we were talking about partnerships across different industries. I think if I can start, braveness starts with little people. It starts with ourselves. And I think braveness starts by already talking about it here, openly, publicly, to say, this is where we should go. Of course, internally, we need to do the same. And if I look at industries, if I look in our industry, I see natural partnerships all over the place, application providers, wearables, which can really bring additional value for the patients and their customers to help them to better connect it in a remote way. So it's for me, it really starts with people who believe in something and then bring it on the table, to the table with the relevant key stakeholders in an organization. And we've been starting to do that and trying to do it. And of course, you bump into many hurdles. Legal, I already said it, legal, corporate, compliance, whatever. In Europe, especially also with everything what is happening, it's not made easy. It's almost that the model is built to avoid that. Because too easily, if a company is working together with another, could lead to prosecutions and etc. etc. So a lot of hurdles that need to be taken away, but it starts again. It starts with it by believing in it and by visualizing it and by getting feedback from your customers and your patients who say, "Wow, if this could happen, that would make a big difference for me in my life, in my quality of life." And if the customers, their HCPs are behind that, then I think it would be a missed opportunity, and even also from an investment responsibility perspective, a huge missed opportunity to not try to achieve that. So what I want to say is, it's not an easy go, but where the will is a way. That's my perspective, and I see this happening slowly but surely, but I'm sure we will get there. And this will be a sustainable model of of the future. That's my personal belief.
I think I can make an example here to be more concrete, because sometimes it's not something fluffy and theoretical, but it's a clear need. We run a survey with our pharmacist customers, and asking them, what are the 3 things that you need more? What you would like to have from us in general? And one thing that I can share was, well, we would like to track the shipments of the drugs to our store, which is the simple things we do every time we buy stuff digitally in Amazon, whatever. We as an industry, we are not yet there. This simple example is something that probably a single organization cannot solve, a single company, because there is a numbers of transport providers, and there is not yet a system that has collected this. But it's a clear example, a very practical one. And still, again, if we compare to other industry, our customer has not at all the service that we are used to have.
Yeah, I think the summary is we have to develop everything, and this is the great opportunity, as we discussed before. So I have nothing to add. I just can support both of you, and I think there is a lot of things to do. Yeah.
Next question, very interesting one. Building on what Robert said, growing our people. How do you go about changing the culture? Because in my personal opinion, I would say that culture is maybe more important than strategy, because we all know that culture eats strategy for breakfast, right? And it's absolutely culture driven, and culture is a huge impact on that. So maybe Robert can start to give the answer first on that.
Yeah, very, very good question, and it's a good point. That you need the culture of growing. You need the culture of also to want this change, to learn. The culture of learning is very important. And I can say in our example in Grünenthal, we are really on a journey which started 2-3 years ago when our new CEO, the CCO, and Florent joined the company. They are pushing a lot to change also the culture, build values. With these values, we can build our new environment, and we need to show examples. And just recent in September, we had a German cycle meeting with the whole organization, which we have done digital. And the first reaction was from everybody: sales directors, first line sales managers, sales reps, but also internally the staff in the office. Wow, we are missing the live event, we are missing the situation. And then we tried. We have done it on a great way, 4 days, really proper training, strategy explanations of the marketing team, a view from the company with our chief scientific officer, our CCO, etc. And the feedback was, wow, it was great. So I saw that it's possible, blah blah blah. So I think that's the way how you change the culture, is have the right values and build on it. And then strategy is also important, to have a view where we want to be in 1 year, 2 years, and we have to grow our people, because the people which are very traditional, it's hard for them. But I personally see. I had yesterday a chat with my sales director. He was on a site on a team event, and especially our reps, very long with the company in the industry, answered, it's great to have the opportunity to communicate with email with my customer, because I can't see him. I'm in a territory where I'm not able to go, and this experience grow them to a new level. And now we have to use this level and develop them further to be an omnichannel person, a part of this omnichannel piece. And I think this is a way to go. But I can say we started it, and we have hurdles. I can tell you, workers' council, also people which are coming and saying it's not the right way, the customer don't want it, etc. But I think that that's everywhere the same, and it depends with the culture, with the right values, from my perspective.
Thank you, Robert. Luigi, Dirk?
Well, from my side, I can build on what Robert said, because once you have a strategy and once you have defined your culture, which are two steps that are fundamental, still there is a long journey to go in order to really disseminate this in your whole organization. And I would add that most probably the more critical roles in our organization is the middle manager, the sales team, basically the area managers, because they have really to dedicate a lot of time on stuff like coaching, again, listening, again, understanding, and then again, explaining and training. Because immediately, I think, when there was this shift to this digital world, everybody was thinking, yes, we need to make some training on how to run a digital call or whatever. And when you think about our parents, my parents is 85 years old. They are 85 years old, and then in one day they were able to make FaceTimes with me. And so I don't think that really technical know-how is what we need to train our people. It's really more about, okay, what is the change that we want to have in our organization? What is this authentic spirit of serving our customers and to understand them and then to offer a solution? That's, I think, is very, very critical. But we have also, again, to think in this month, and when we're planning what to do next year, how much we want to invest on this, because I'm sure our sales team see every day the difficulties to have access. And they know that even if they have access, if I think about HCPs, if you reach the physician, then maybe that he has not the patients at the level and before. So they are worried. Most probably they are worried. And so at the same time, we are asking them to change. So I think combining what we said before about authenticity. So if we are authentic, we say what really is the situation, and then we explain why we want to do something, and then we support them to do it. Then we really can make the difference.
Thank you, Luigi. Dirk?
Yeah, just I've been listening very attentively about what both Robert and Luigi said, and I think for me the key is not about the what or not about the why, because I think rationally people understand, but and I liked what Luigi said at the end. It's about, we are here to support you. Is the emotional factor. Often people are able to understand that something needs to happen, but they're scared, and they don't feel taken care of about their emotional component. And it's the same for us. If you don't feel reassured, you start to push back. So if you want to guide people to change, of course, it's important that the full leadership is aligned and is giving the example and explaining this repeatedly and in a very consistent manner. So no dissonant notes, especially not from the highest level in the organization, but also giving that feeling of caring, authenticity and transparency. What is going to happen? And I know one of the questions will be in the future, how is the future sales force looking like? Yeah, obviously people are asking that question. Is digital going to take my job? Or what is the place? So let's be honest. That's also part of culture and values. Robert mentioned the word values. People need to be able to connect to a purpose. A company has a purpose. And if I, as an employee, can connect to that purpose, everything becomes a lot easier because I can place it. So a lot of things that need to happen in this quite psychological kind of environment in which we are operating, and I think that is often underestimated by the senior leadership in the organization, which of course has to deliver to. We already mentioned you need to deliver as an organization your profitability goals, etc. So sometimes even your culture is standing in between, and that's what I want to say about consistency And again, also Luigi repeated it also, authenticity. If you have a culture, if you have values, you have your purpose as an organization, please stick to it. And you shouldn't accept that this is questioned openly, even if it has properly been thought through and shared with the organization. Either you join, or at a certain moment, if you cannot connect to the purpose and the culture and the values, yeah, then you have to ask yourself, is this the right place to be for me? And that's the other angle to the equation I wanted to add.
Maybe that we have lost Dario again, so probably we can jump probably to the last question, which was a futuristic questions. So probably the last topic will be, well, what are our predictions for further changes in our commercial models in 2, 4, or more years to come? So I don't know who wants to start. Dear, you want to start first this time?
So sorry. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, about the predictions.
Yeah.
What you foresee in your crystal ball for the future of our industry?
Here's my crystal ball, and I'm looking into it, and I see. No, I truly believe that, of course, the sales roles will always be there. We already mentioned human connection is and stays critical. Despite even internally, when we look, we are missing this physical connection, because that's where you really make decisions, where you really look each other in the eyes. Having said that, of course, I think that the role of sales will change dramatically, and is already changing dramatically. Because if you talk about this whole omnichannel environment in which we have to navigate, there has to be one navigator or an orchestrator. And that's where I see the future for the sales roles in our industry, is really having this a higher strategic insight on which of these channels do I have to pull in which part of the process, in the value creation process, which part of the internal organization do I need to bring in to have value adding discussions with our customers. Let it say, for example, big hospitals coming together with procurement, with education, with medical affairs, name it. So it's really this orchestrating role that I believe will be the new pitch for the sales rep of the future. It's not a super sales rep, it will be the new sales rep. And I think the new generation will be, of course, better prepared, because one, they are facing this, they are used to this whole omnichannel environment. So it will be our responsibility also, how do we reassure the people from my generation and above, the people who are not so digital savvy or native, that they also still have a place in the organization, maybe another place. Again, coming to this transparency and authenticity words, is we need to have these debates, and we need to do this rather sooner than later, because it will change. And so everything needs to follow. When we talk about job success profiles, the whole process, HR process, needs to be rebuilt also to support that. And again, related to the previous question, is then this is about change again. Preparing our people for the change, telling them why, and also giving them opportunities to do other things where they feel better in this new environment. So that's what I believe. Technology is there to stay, will help us to cut out tasks and time which we are spending, which we are forced to spend in the analytical world, for example, Excel sheets and bringing them together and then bringing reports and blah, blah, blah. Machines can do that much better than us. Channels are there to help us. So it's our responsibility to maximize them. And that's where I believe the sales organization of tomorrow, together with the marketing organization, that will be the natural pitch. They will be sitting, there will be ad hoc teams also sitting together, depending on what the customer is looking for in this omni-channel and omni-demand kind of environment.
Robert?
I totally agree with Dirk, and everything is said by you, especially for the sales force, the human touch we need in selling and customer relationships. I think that's absolutely the right prediction in your ball. And I think the same way as you explained the sales roles, I think it's also for marketing, it's also for medical. So better understanding of customers, of the value of the whole journey. Technology, I think this is extremely helpful. What will come? We are just in a demo journey in our company, and it's to see what is possible, to analyze it. I would like to be back in 2003 when I was a sales rep, to have these technologies, because it's helpful, and to bring back the fear of our people about these technologies, because what will happen? I think it will help us, but we have to show the values, to learn the values, and it depends always, I think, also for the future, in which portfolio we are thinking. Are we an established brand portfolio, in a launch portfolio? I think it will be different, a different approach to promote our products, our values. And I think here we will also find the new ways. But I liked the point Luigi said before, when pharmacists want to know where is the package I'm waiting for. Also there will be a new future. So, and I think these are all things which will come in our industry, which will help, which will be more transparent. And I'm also the person who is always saying human touch will be a need. The question is always, do you need, I don't know, in Germany, 200 reps or 50 or 80 or maybe also sometimes 400? It depends, but it's the way of how the future in this industry will look, and I'm looking forward to be part of it, because also myself has to learn, has to grow, has to develop, because that's the way how we work, how we all, I think, worked in the past. I'm now in the industry 70 years. That's the way how it will be also in the future, maybe faster. What is your view, Luigi, in Italy?
You know, to me, this question is probably the more difficult one, because we are still struggling to understand what happens next year. So trying to understand what happens next could be even ambitious or too complicated, but it could be even in a way easier probably than the planning of next year, because if both the economy and the healthcare systems will continue to be strained and constrained, the pressure to maximize the usage of the digital technology will not stop. So the question is only what will be the technologies that will hit us more, how telemedicine will grow, how e-commerce will hit our industry, how everybody of us are speaking about artificial intelligence, and we don't know, we don't have yet probably concrete examples, but it will play a role. So what I really like of your points of view is that okay, all these things will happen, and if our teams, customer-facing teams, are really perceiving that finally the technology is not used anymore as probably in the past years, like the old CRM was a control system, basically. But to be honest, there was a control system of the sales force. It was not really a sales enabler, a support of the daily activities. So if all these technologies will be seen from our sales team as a support for themselves and a support for their customers, that will be really a great step forward. And that's the first part. The second part, I like very much the provocation of Dario about the Christmas cards, because really then all this technology will emphasize the importance of the human touch. We have to develop on the both sides, IQ and EQ, emotions, intelligence, digital and face-to-face. That's probably the real meaning of hybrid, is just to be better humans and also smarter digital users.
It's nice, and we are hitting on the dots. If you look at the Swiss clock, at the end of this interesting debate, and I think that Dario has put it in front of a test to see how we would manage and the three of us to do this debate. We'll see us struggling and fighting with T-Mobile, and I can still imagine he's doing that. But I think at the end of the day, it was about the future, but we've also looked a lot about old-fashioned words like authenticity, transparency, and I think as a kind of conclusion is that we will have to keep on reinventing ourselves, because we do not know how the world of tomorrow looks like, and COVID has proven that. But we are as ready as we can be, because if COVID has learned is something is you need to be inventive and creative, and you need to act fast when you're in a crisis mode. So, and I think that for the coming years, our industry, and together with many other industries, will be and stay a bit in this kind of constant crisis modus, which I think is not too bad, as long as and that's another, I think, part which came back many times, is that this human touch can stay there, so that people really feel connected to humans and not to machines. I would say through machines with humans in today's reality. So with that, I think in behalf of Dario, I would like to thank Luigi, Robert, and okay.
And to all the audience, all the people who are listening and raising questions.
Exactly. And there are still many questions. There are still many questions which unfortunately we do not have the time to answer. So I think Dario will come back in that regard. So thank you everyone, and wishing you a fantastic weekend, and stay safe and stay well. Bye-bye.
Bye.